How are you all doing?
Hey, Rachel. Eating dinner.
Hola.
Welcome
I am
in.
sweating outside because I'm supposed
Oh,
to be outside when we do this call, but it's Arizona and it's like 110 degrees. But
Hmm.
it is still in this really weird, gorgeous way. So peaceful.
mm,
And I just saw these three little hummingbirds like on like this, I guess like the light bulb, like string light things. And they were just sitting there for like 15 minutes. So they just were like talking to me about how we're doing such a good job,
Aw,
everybody. It's been
sweet.
cool vibes. Yeah, it's cool vibes. I'm happy to be here, but I am sweaty, and that's just what it's gonna be.
We drove by there. We drove from California to Colorado yesterday and today, and it was like
Mm,
116 going through.
yes,
It was
yes, it
crazy.
is. It is. It's interesting, but it's like weird how the body can just adapt sometimes too. And it's
Yeah.
strange. Just takes a lot of water. A lot of water.
yeah.
Mm-mm-mm.
How's everybody's weekend?
Good. Crazy, but
I
good.
was like, "What day is it?" I didn't know what day it was when you said that.
I
I'm
think
like,
it's
"Well,
Monday.
it's Monday."
Missing
But
a
I mean,
lady.
Tatiana
Yeah.
sounds like you're having a beautiful time in the travels.
Yeah, my
Traveling is
daughter graduated, so we
beautiful.
were we were moving her out, and we were
Aw.
we did a lot of
It's,
gridding. We flew into San
yes.
Diego and drove up the coast to Santa Barbara, uh, because one
Oh,
kid was in one place and one kid was in another, and then
oh, beautiful.
graduation and parties and Father's Day, and then drove home. So
Oh, that's a
lots
nice
of
weekend. That's a
yeah,
celebration.
yeah, and the weather was incredible coming back. The yeah, it was so gorgeous. The Colorado River and the mountains, it was so beautiful.
Thanks for bringing that energy into this call.
Sure. I got to go right. We were following along the Colorado, and I wanted to get out. I was doing some gridding, and there's a spot right at the Continental Divide where the river, the waters part, and everything on one side of the divide goes towards New Mexico, Arizona, Nevada, California, and then on the other side of the divide, all the water goes the other direction. And I was just doing some blessings and prayers because it felt like such a significant
Oh,
spot.
yes. Yes. Thank you for that. Thank you for your service.
Of course.
Wow. You're boots on the ground right now. It's awesome.
Boots
Heck
on the
yeah.
ground.
That's what we love. In
Mm-hmm.
person. And not that much longer, actually, huh, for us.
I know. I'm
Mm-mm.
so
A week
excited.
from, a week from
Sorry.
Wednesday, we'll arrive.
Nope.
Hey, Jacob, welcome in, brother.
Jacob, you'll be there in spirit.
Yeah, he will.
Mhm.
What's Jacob guiding on the 20? It's Jacob's guiding something on the 26th for us, right? Or
The
20 one
the
of the days?
Lyran harmonics. Let's see. The harmonics of the vault of Lyra.
Sweet.
Mhm. I feel so far away. I'm sorry, but every day feels like 2 years. And when you're naming dates, I'm like, that feels like months at this rate. But it's all so fast. It's so crazy. I'm like, when was that? That was when? It was like 12 hours ago, Rachel. No, that felt like 3 weeks ago.
I get to see Vincent on Friday.
That's awesome.
Friday. Wow.
Yes.
How does that work?
He's coming and staying with me when he,
Whoa. No
yeah,
way.
Awesome.
Vincent, I don't know if you can hop off, but yeah, he's got his Gaia conference Friday and Saturday, or Saturday
So,
and Sunday. So
wow.
we got to figure out what we're
So
doing
we
for the
opened the
solstice.
container. This is a container, my friend. Everyone is in flow.
We're all just
Wow.
hopping in each other's timelines.
Mm-hmm. Weaving wonderfully.
Yes,
Team's getting back together.
It is fun.
that's All
Can
right.
people hear me?
Yeah, yeah. It's a
Cool.
little choppy.
It's a little choppy.
Oh,
Okay.
better, better.
Better. Good. Okay.
Yeah, great.
Hi everyone. So,
Hola.
good news for that vault of the harmonics of the vault of Lyra. That one just got JJ's approval an hour ago, which is cool. Just know she's
Yay.
like noted it and that she is in full support of it energetically as well. So that's good.
Woo.
Oh,
Apparently
nice.
she moved a light language quantum mastery thing that was half an hour after it starts. So I've moved it forward an hour now. So hopefully it doesn't cross paths with anyone's sessions. But yeah, the stuff they're doing in
Wow.
there is going to lead up to what JJ's doing in the Galactic Remembrance completely by synchronicity. I didn't know, but it's going to work.
We're weaving wonderfully, I said, sir.
We were
Yeah.
what?
We're weaving wonderfully.
Yes, yes. I didn't get a chance to talk to her about what we're doing here, but it makes sense because we haven't figured out what we're doing here. But if everything's in line, then I trust whatever we chatted today to be completely in alignment. And actually, I'm not privy to a lot of the other stuff that's happened in the past that, if I was to say, could be returning or coming back now. You know how we're going back to the Lyra Vault, what other remembrances and calls have been done that weren't ready to be
Oh,
done. So
oh,
now we
so
can
many.
get to the next vibration of. That's what I introduce now as a bit of like a thread to think about.
Mhm.
And that's me.
Mhm. Congrats,
Yeah.
dude.
Yeah, that's cool. I'm glad that you guys were able to check in. Me and Crystal are sitting in the same room, so we're gonna have to alt mute if we're gonna need to talk over one another. But she typed in the chat SLC retreat. Yeah, SLC retreat every single month actually. I think the official one is going to be in December? Question mark. Yeah, I think we're going to have an actual official one. We do gridding, well, multiple times a week. And we got
What's the 12-12? 12-12. What y'all doing? 12-12 feels far away, but I'm excited for 12-12.
yeah, 12/12. We're going to be up in the mountains, I think.
Are you?
12/12
I
is
hear.
so far away. What do you, Rachel, you started this call being like, I can't figure out what's happening next week. And now you're like, 6 months time, guys, what are you doing?
Dude, let me put it in the chat, bro.
Ah, sorry.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh, what?
we're definitely channeling in some stuff. It feels like some snow codes up in the mountains, some
Yeah.
Isn't
festivities.
it more relevant to think about the 999 portal? I feel like that's
The
the groovy
8-8,
one.
guys, the 8-8 in
They're all
Colorado.
beautiful.
They're
They're all
all amazing
beautiful.
portals.
Well, we're gonna have such a good party every time.
Yes. But wait, Crystal, you're meeting up with her in 2 days? Was that the St. Salt Lake City retreat that she's hosting there? Or is that different?
No, no.
Got
Go
it.
ahead, I'll mute.
No, I just have an update sort of meeting with her. So I'm gonna give her kind of the results of what we decide here for the pre-gridding for this upcoming one. The 12/12 was just something that dropped in for me like a month or so ago. And it was more like it was just like an elevated level of sort of co-channeling event where like maybe we put together like a plot or something and sort of act out some of this different like lineage stuff as it comes together. And maybe have some light language and some songs and just kind of
Yeah.
it's like a whole production that's kind of building in my head, but it's like we said, it's forever away. So I'm just kind of holding space for it energetically for now.
I'm just sending love
Nice.
to it because I know
Thank
it
you.
feels important. It feels important.
It's so awesome. I know I'm like half the time I'm confused. I'm like, okay, is this a pre-gridding call for the Four Corners? Is this a pre-gridding call for JJ's,
It's for everything. We
activation?
pre-grid everything, all
Yeah,
threads.
we do. That's
Mhm.
actually that's a fair point, and we're gonna and thank you for bringing that up. But yeah, we just want to talk about kind of like the overlying. We actually had a pre-gridding call between me Lenny and Jacob yesterday, just kind of talking about some of the stuff that had come through, and then I just wanted to get everybody together to see like, hey, who can actually make, hey, Vincent, welcome in, bro. See who could make it in for tonight, which luckily everybody was able to make it in. I know Erica's driving right now, so thank you everybody for, number one, your sovereignty, your frequency, being able to make this call on a short notice. The Rose frequency, the Vincent's bringing in. Rose has been, it seems like it's a theme that just continues every single week. So many rose cards. So many
Blue
cards.
Rose. Blue Rose
Oh.
came through hard last night in Simi's Sirian Codex. Blue Rose. Blue Lotus, too.
I'm a
Wow.
blue rose.
I think I feel like we all are, aren't we? In
Yes,
some
we
way.
are.
Yeah. So we just wanted to kind of talk about the overarching themes, probably get to do some co-channeling and see kind of what is coming in. The purpose of this call is not the vault dive, so nothing about the vault at all in this call, other than the Jacob kind of overarching tie into Jacob's. But today, let me just bring it up here. We've only done some preliminary planning. Kind of what I sent to you guys in the actual calendar invite is really kind of all that we've channeled in. It's going to be, we're thinking about doing a 2-call series to support JJ's Galactic Reclamation project. Nothing is set in stone. Everything is on the table. Really want to kind of co-channel together and see what's being called in. We did have some kind of preliminary, if you're able to look at the calendar invite, just some preliminary themes that kind of dropped in as we tapped in, and I was texting with, well, I was texting with essentially everybody in here, but really the hope is kind of a continuation of, not the hope, but what we will continue to do is support JJ, support our community by continuing to host these kind of like Limitless Creator series, and then, you know, call in that very high frequency, very potent, you know, synergy co-creation together, and then continue to basically weave that in the quantum and pre-grid for JJ and for our community and for ourselves. We were thinking about 2 days, so tentatively the first day, because we're on kind of a short time, so it's going to kind of come quick and heavy because we're going to be in person in about a week from Wednesday. So really we kind of have a limited window to work in here, but definitely don't want to like close anything off. We want to support as much as possible for the Galactic Reclamation, which also I just wanted to put into the field, and what JJ had highlighted too, was the kind of updated frequency of reconciliation, which is what we've had previously with the last two, and then moving into this kind of frequency of reclamation. So that was kind of the first thing that really kind of caught my eye energetically, and I was like, oh, this is kind of an updated frequency that she's channeling in here. So I wanted us to kind of lean into that. Day one, we're thinking about shooting for Friday the 20th, which would be in the afternoon time, kind of when we had our calls previously on Friday. Right now, the Limitless Creator Series is down. We've just been taking a break. So looking at Friday the 20th in the afternoon, trying to accommodate everybody's like work schedules, just like probably around this time so that everybody can make it. And then the second call would come the following Monday, the June 23rd. So again, it's kind of coming almost back to back, where we have a break over the weekend. because we're really heading into, well, we have the Vault Dive Call Part 2 on the 25th, tentatively scheduled, and then Jacob and is going to be hosting the Harmonics of the Vault of Lyra the following day on the 26th in the U.S., which would be the 27th. So really, the 20th in the afternoon, the 23rd would be the second call, tentatively. And then before I turn over, just wanted to kind of highlight here. We did some pre-channeling, and again, this is completely open for interpretation, but just kind of the frequency, that we wanted to hold, and Lenny does such a better job. Maybe I'll have her key in on this, and if I miss anything. Thinking more, so overarching theme is really a bit of a frequency change from the first call to the second call. First one is going to be, well, they're both going to be very divine feminine frequency flow, more of like a collaborative co-channeling, kind of calling in this generalized intention, and really kind of setting aside some of the previous containers, kind of like masculine frequency, where it was like, very like, hey, this is exactly what we're doing. This is, what we're calling in. This is kind of a completely different updated frequency. A lot of the things, and we'll tune in here in just a minute. A lot of the frequencies that we've all been feeling so far, there's a lot of, high frequency number one, the barbello, a lot of creation frequency. I'm feeling a little bit, even in this week, there is a little bit of kind of like this chaos, this quantum creation frequency that's coming along with that. The second day, so again, first day, the 20th, second day, tentatively the night of the 23rd. Second day would be more of kind of like I'm calling it a galactivation, so more of an activation. JJ has 3 days for hers. Second day will be kind of like a group MSI. I don't think she's really talked about what her third day is, but really this is going to kind of be a culmination. This will be more of like an actual activation. I'm hearing some other stuff too, but I just want to kind of really leave that open to interpretation for the group, because I'm really interested in us kind of collectively co-channeling the overarching theme, frequencies, guides. Lenny, did I miss anything else, by the way? Let me read the chat, sorry. Yeah, Vincent, I'll just read over here. We are limitless, that's right. 6:30 Pacific, Friday is tough. Okay, for Tatiana.
It depends on what Vincent wants to do, because we were going to meet up after his class and maybe go for a hike in Boulder for do something for the solstice, but he doesn't get out of class till 5:30, and then if we were going to do a hike, so I'll wait till he chimes in. I can be flexible, but I know with the solstice, like right at 8, we kind of I at least want to do something around the solstice for that night. It could be later, or I could even do a sunrise something for the solstice also on Saturday.
Yeah, I'm Friday, like most of the day. I get to about 30. So like whatever we could do before the meeting would be fine, and then we could maybe do something where we meet with everybody. If like 6:30 would work for me, as long as we had time or whatever, I guess, like, because I think a hike and then getting up to like in Boulder there, we should be able to do some things. So
I mean,
way before then.
it takes an hour and 15 minutes to get back here from Boulder back to Evergreen. So I don't know if you want to log on from Boulder or if you want to get back
We
to
could, or
Evergreen.
something like maybe we'll just talk on after this at some point, like maybe tomorrow sometime, and then we could
Okay,
see.
okay. I will go with whatever works for you and the group.
Indeed.
Yeah, and if Friday is essentially, if we kind of collectively think Friday may not be a good day because of the solstice, because it's into Saturday, right? So it's like Friday into Saturday. I think Saturday is an option as well too. I don't think we can discount Saturday. I think Saturday could be an option.
Would that work for anyone to do Saturday instead of Friday?
Mm-hmm.
My biogeometry is going to be all day on Saturday, like I think it's from 9 to like 5. So
I think it's, yeah, I think even 5:30, right?
yeah, something like that.
What if could we do like 7 Mountain Time on Saturday? Then you can get back and we can all log on from here. Does that work for anyone? 6 Pacific?
Mm-hmm.
PM.
PM. Jacob, I think you said you would only be aligned for Monday. Is that right? Does that sound correct?
Yes, I'll be hosting an event during the day, most likely on solstice. If that changes, I will be here. But yeah, that Saturday, wait, your Saturday would be our Sunday. Yeah, I'm doing a presentation on that Sunday, which is your Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
The Monday
Well,
I'll be free, or the Tuesday I'll be free.
For the activation portion of it, 6:30 Pacific, 7:30 Mountain would be great. Okay. Well, looks like we have a couple options. Saturday may be the most aligned day. Let's do both. Yeah, Monday and Saturday. That sounds good. 7:30, 8:30, 9:30. Yeah. Yeah, I think that allows people from Pacific Standard Time to get home, right, and make the calls. That makes sense to me. Yeah, so did we want to kind of tap in and see what comes through? Jacob, did you want to talk about what you wrote there in the chat before we kind of co-channel? Drop this in? Or...
I'll read it out loud, but I don't want it to take away too much. It was just some suggestions. If we are pre-gridding things, then I would draw attention to maybe the sun or some of the new suns that are in our field being also potential vault holders, or some we can anchor in to rain into Gaia, because if we're setting things up, then we want as many access points for the information to be stored. And then there's also something else that I haven't been able to tune in with the sun, so putting it out there for you guys to tune into, either central or others. And I can organize Joe to create some codes for us, which would be great. And so we just need to have what our intentions are and what the general theme would be for each session that I can get her to make some for us. And then each session, which guides would be there to help. And okay, that's it. So yeah, let's drop in for sure. I'm getting excited. Pulled some cards and getting curious. Do it. Does Crystal want to take us on a journey in?
Yeah, thank you. Let's just begin to settle in, taking some deep breaths into our center, expressing love and gratitude to one another, for our support, for each other, for this team, for the collective, for all those that are aligned with our path and purpose and the timelines that we are calling in and anchoring. Stepping into our central channel through our root system. Dropping in to our heart, extending beyond the physical heart into our eternal spark of life. As we call in energy from our local sun, as well as any new suns coming into our awareness, into this shared collective highest timeline, golden, crystalline, diamond frequencies. Calling in the grids of 12th dimensional Aramatena, overlight our brainstorming session today. Thanking her for her guidance and her wisdom. Tapping into the perfect alignment for what is needed for this 2-part series in preparation for JJ's Galactic Reclamation Project. Tapping into the updated reconciliation frequency that we seek to align and anchor. Calling in any and all other overlighting frequencies that are in the highest support for our intentions for this series. Dropping into our galactic remembrance. Pulling in our direct connection to authentic organic source. So we pull those source codes into this space. And harmonize in perfect alignment. Sending those codes and this frequency down our central channel, down into Mama Gaia, down into her crystalline heart, aligning with the higher wisdom of 12th dimensional Aramatena. Sending her love and gratitude as she also aligns with her highest destiny timeline. Calling in the energy of the Great White Brotherhood. Elevated frequency of creation consciousness. And any other guides that seek to assist us in this process, we call them through the harmonized, unified field of intelligence, through our divine connections. Come into the space with us now. Breathing this energy deeply into our hearts once more. And anchoring into our feet as we share these codes with our physical surrounding. Hatayana Sashoya Kataya Sataya Kotaya Saya Tata 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 Yukia Isya Toya Kataya Tata Tata Tata. Allowing this energy to build radiance in your field. And with that, thank you. I'm complete.
Yeah, thank you so much. Let's open the floor to, co-channeling, sacred co-creation. Really would love to hear what's coming through for everybody. So feel free to unmute, whether it's guides, themes, something that you're just feeling called to. I mean, immediately I was called. I'm looking more kind of like galactic. I'm not even really like planetary, just kind of tapping into the frequency that we're calling in. I was sharing with Jacob yesterday too. Really want to kind of channel into this, high frequency, continued like this high frequency that we've called in from, the Rainbow Bridge, the River of Peace, the 12th chakra activation, the chakra attunement that Jacob did for us. So just kind of continuing along those themes of. So would love to hear what's coming through for everybody, whether it's codes, light language, all of that I think is really important. So thank you.
I can speak. Actually, for once, I have words. If it doesn't cut out, because it's every time I talk, the frequency. Okay. So I'm seeing all of us just like whirling through the axis, and it's like this light that's just cleansing all of us in like a calibration for the frequency. Like it is the frequency, it is a distortion remover if you accept you receive. I'm just weaving that frequency in the background, guys, like this whole time. So it is a really nice attunement that isn't just like for right now, it's across all time, space, dimensions, realities, connected to the threads of your parallels and your ancestors, because the most of the time it's their wounds that are dripping down into our awareness, and then we wonder if it's just us, and it's like, no, it's not just us, it's the collective, it's the planet, it is all the threads that you're connected to. But it's not overwhelming when you have this frequency, because it just sends that beautiful light all through the weaving. And I receive that this light cleanses all. So I never really share, but they said I had to share it just to let it be known in the room that that is what I'm weaving. Right. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. So I would like to direct your attention to something I put in the chat. There's two sets of codes here that I was waiting to show you guys. And the first set, if turned, you just need to turn them, like download them and turn them in whichever way is shown to you. But there's something about a Starfleet here that is willing to be on the background and support. So whatever that is, I'd love to know who will get. And then with the second photo, I really feel like this is people's individuals like missions over the next couple of days. So I'd love to just direct your attention towards that and let me know if there's anything that stands out or rings out to you in terms of activations. And what was a bit of an extension from there. I was just going through it, and I'll now dip back into my own channel because I just needed this as a bit of a foreground. But yeah, you know, arises or seems to align. There's a lot going on. Just tune into the part that's relevant for you. And Rachel, if you have any translations as well, that'd be appreciated.
Can you screen share like the one you're looking at in the direction that you're looking at? Because it would be a lot easier because these codes are always insane and I could stare at them for hours.
Okay, give me a second, I'll do that. So let's start here. Oh, sorry, I got rid of the music. I got rid of the music, I'm so sorry. Okay, now there is a lot going on here, but me personally, I see these big codes as like individual kind of missions and codexes. Okay, everything is falling over on my side. Maybe this isn't correct to do right now. Maybe it's the other one that's more important. Give me a second. Does anyone get anything?
I was getting some things in the other one. Wow, this one is so amazing. Did you do these? Did you do these, Jacob?
No, I work very closely with Jo, so I get her to organize things for me like this. I don't know how to stop. Oh, wait, stop the share, and then I can switch it to this one. So this
And
was the
second
one. Yeah, this one.
when it was turned to the way that you posted it in the chat, I was seeing, yeah, the third one down in the first column. I just heard fire. Like, I don't know why this just looks like a little fire bearer to me. And then I was looking at all of them, and for some reason, this first row, vertical row, was reminding me of our different roles, like a fire bearer. That the second one, the one right under it, that's second to the last, almost looks musical to me. Like there's musical notes or musical. Feel like that, yeah, like that one has to do with song. The top one looked like grounding in. There was something about that bottom right aspect of that felt very grounding, like Lenny and Fate Boy, that kind of ground us in and call the energy in. I don't know. I'm curious what if anybody else resonates. I didn't. It almost looks like that second one looks like flowers or roses in that second one on the right aspect of it.
So yeah, I did just want to have these here as points or like pivots to really help people move to and through this, in case there was any ideas that came for like a particular planet or like the star systems. Like when I have it displayed, come on, control screen. When I have it this way, I see the starships, Starfleet, really. So I really wonder if they're coordinating something as well. But I've never contacted a Starfleet before, so I don't know how to do that.
Maybe we all represent different star systems and are coming together as represented there.
Yeah. Hey, boy, you look like you're cooking up a storm over there, brother. Do you have anything cooking up?
Yeah, I'm just getting different frequencies coming through because really I'm trying to think. So if I was somebody who was going to be a part of the community and I was going to come to JJ's Galactic Reclamation and I was, really interested in kind of pre-gridding and really getting the most out of it, I was basically thinking like, hey, what is it that I would be most interested, so like providing service. But then I was like, that's way too masculine. That's just way too masculine for the frequency that I'm really feeling. I'm feeling a lot of this kind of like rebirth, a lot of this like goddess, a lot of this like feminine. There was dark feminine that came through. There is this kind of hint of even like chaos, primordial, dark matter, and maybe not so much antimatter, but really like dark matter. I was even thinking of, and if any of this stuff like, just triggers anything, feel free to unmute and let's like co-channel on some of this. I was even thinking of some of the like updated frequencies too, to the, because as you're reading the Sophia code, there are like these different, as we're moving up in density, right? Because it's galactic reclamation. So as we're fractalized down into the 3D, I'm thinking of basically like sending my awareness up into density, like coming back in to that unity frequency, that unity consciousness. So I'm really kind of at the edge of the field looking for kind of the reclamation of, something that isn't normally like in our field. So we hear all of these common, like you go to the Ascension Glossary and there's the very common galactic star families, but like I'm interested in kind of like pushing that envelope, getting to those higher echelons, getting through those kind of like limiting beliefs and calling that into the here and now. So.
I have a question. How do we know when you're talking about a group of beings that identify as consciousness, how do we know whether or not they have free will? And then if they don't have free will, how do we know if it's divine will? That was a question that was coming on my drive home. I know it sounds like very off, but the reason I ask is because of the groups of consciousness that are coming in. So thinking about things less as like a galactic family or like a group, but actually in terms of consciousness. And so I was just grasping with the information that's come through about free will and divine will and like what that is at a consciousness level.
Yeah, can you talk more about that? It feels important, and maybe there's like some code, some light language. Can you channel that for us,
Okay,
and then
yeah,
we can kind of co-channel off of. It feels important what you're saying, so I love it.
yeah, I don't really have any other information, but I can channel it. I'm gonna do okay. Sorry, I was told that I have large amounts of data in my light language, so I'm trying to compress it in a file. And then I'll bring that through, and then you all can access it better that way. So I'm just having them compress it really quick. Okay, I'm gonna calibrate. And then you all can use your own light language to basically open that zip file for yourself.
I'm feeling a lot of energy in the gut and the navel and solar plexus area. When you first asked the question, I just heard, using the gut, really tuning into your own discernment. And I saw this image that almost looked like a sea anemone, or like the giant chakra with many different filaments that's reaching out and reading the energy and reading and sensing. Um, so really opening up the flower of that gut to feel into, um, if they're in alignment with or energies that we want to work with.
There was this concept. There was this concept as to why the Lyra stuff is coming back. And it was this idea around time locks, in that sometimes we lock things at a certain point so that things can progress, and then we can unlock them again once we've progressed to a certain point. So I wonder if that consciousness thing you're talking about and divine will, and it speaks to almost like a bandwidth of where I guess where people are at and collectively. And so now we can go back to these individualized solar systems or planets or collective consciousnesses and access them at a new higher level, possibly. But that's the little thing I got as to with Lyra, because at the end they locked the gate, and it's not going to be locked forever, I don't think. So that's kind of where I got to, in a bit of a response to what Erica's question was. Yeah.
What I have come through is like it's been coming through pretty much all day, and like when this hit, it's that our sun's on its ninth go around with this coronal hole stream that is blowing at the Earth, and it happens every 28 days, almost as a moon cycle, but it happens right after the new moon, or the full moon, basically, so that it's like that full moon is bringing out the subconscious of our our ability to connect to the galactic, and then like this coronal hole stream is pumping the galactic codes in from the central sun of our galaxy to us with this invisible code. We're not, they hardly ever talk about it or show it on like any of the things that like are talking with. They're more concerned with the sunspots and the solar flashes and stuff like that. But this coronal stream has been pumping all of these photons into like the polar caps of Gaia, and those codes are filtering through the codes that of the beings who were living in those places when the Earth was tilted at a different way, basically. So there's some beings that were around in the time of Mu, I guess is what I'm hearing, that we're bringing in codes of our oversouls being able to easily connect to our oversouls at this time. So we're on the ninth cycle of this, and this is the completion of this set of codes that they're bringing in, so that for the last 9 months, we've been getting this stronger and stronger pull to connect to our Oversoul, which has our Oversoul is connected to multiple lifetimes in different in like maybe a different galaxy, but in our own galaxy of Lyra, Orion, and Sirius. And so there's like this triangulation of like all this energy is getting focused at our sun, and it's just spewing out throughout our solar system right now, that it's connecting to like this frequency where we're unlocking a phase, like this phase generating thing that we created at that time, as like each one of our oversouls created this at the time of Mu about 189,000 years ago or something like that. And so we're actually reaching our higher point of being able to reconnect with our Oversoul to actually bring in this new phase technology that allows us to connect to our Oversoul easily. And a lot of people are going to have a hard time with that somewhat, but like the frequency is, we're in groups like us are bringing in this higher frequency so that we're able to anchor that. If we weren't here, that would just get anchored into Gaia without like it would just be into another cycle of disaster. But since we're here, we're anchoring it all over in different parts of the world right now, and we're going to be coming together as a group that we're going to be anchoring this somehow as our oversouls have this connection to upgrade our DNA into this breath of life cyclone, basically, that we're able to breathe in more of ourselves. Like, so right now, as that coronal hole stream is pointing at us, we should be taking in deeper and deeper breaths. So like the breath should be really important to us right now. And that's what like some of this galactic reclamation is going to be about, is like taking in deeper and deeper breaths, because that's going to give us the time and the pause to hear what the cosmic mother and father are kind of breathing through our sun right now, basically. Yeah, calm and troubled waters. Like we're just like, we're the calm water for sure. And the troubled water we'll see around us, but we have to hold our calm. It's kind of just what I've been hearing all day, all weekend, basically. I was like, I just felt like even my family, they were often doing chaos things, and like I was just holding these like grounded like things. I had to work in the garden. I had to do like just touch the earth and just pull all these galactic frequencies in, for sure. Yeah, and there's a higher harmonic heart frequency that's coming in that I was getting today. It was like this vibration in my heart chakra that was just vibrating. Yeah, totally. I just kept on, and every time I would feel it, I would just relax and not try not to think of anything, and it would stay there. And yeah, it's super magical. If you guys can tune into that I think that's kind of what a lot of that light language that Erica was bringing in was saying, and the codes that Joe Laurie was like, those boxes, like it's just like a maze for us to find. And that's like, when we get to the center of that maze, we're finding that frequency, and the puzzle becomes a new puzzle that we have to start over again at, like, but it's at a higher frequency. So there's more color, there's more light, there's more sound. There's so much to it. Yeah, architecture for sure. Bringing in, I've been hearing architecture and building, like, and there's several of us that are building an architecture right now, and groups like us have like a monad or that's in control of the oversoul. Our oversouls are the group consciousness of that monad, basically, and that's how we become one, is through the understanding of that monad through our oversoul and our collective consciousness of oversouls. Because like the more we're able to take in our more of ourselves in like separate timelines that we're all experiencing right now, that our oversoul is like kind of watching over. If the more we're able to condense those and bring in into our own awareness, that brings into the awareness of our other aspects of ourselves, us, and our oversoul. Like it starts to create this synergy between us and the multiple timelines that we're on and our oversoul, bringing it to a collection of the monad, to the monad. In like it's just, yeah, like that's what the rainbow chakra kind of thing is all about, is like each one of the rainbow aspects of our chakra is a different timeline of us that we need to like focus on and bring in. When we focus on a certain color or a chakra, we're able to like take in more of ourselves at that point. Yeah, that's kind of what I got. It's a lot more than that, and like hopefully you guys I didn't lose a lot of you like on that one. There's so much just flowing through me. Thank you.
Thank you, Vincent. Always amazing. Just wanted to say really quickly, when I was doing an Akashic Records reading on myself recently, I was shown a new room, an expanded room, which in the room was all these stables full of these incredible horses that were like stallions, and there were pillars next to each one. And when I asked what all these were, they were each different oversouls, and they were kind of waiting and ready for the next mission. And it was as if we had the option. I was realizing, or it was showing me that we had the option to choose different oversouls depending upon our soul purpose and our soul's mission in each life. That was that was a new concept for me, at least. I was not aware of that.
Thank you for sharing that, and Vincent, for your thoughtful responses. I think my question doesn't stem from, to be very clear, when I question things other than myself, I am very clear. When I question myself, that is when I'm not clear. So because I'm questioning that, it brings me back, it's part of this, right? And so you think of the trinity of houses, and you think of source and the fragmentation. So I believe it has something to do with that. And then what's been coming up for me recently, which it's my own remembrance of the Pleiades, because I have a connection with them, yet they're always in the background. And so what came up for me around the moon was something about lost communication there. And from what I believe come across is there's like there's like this other part of the universe that like parts of us are stuck. And so like that was what I was reconciling, is like my stuck self. And then there's something coming up for me personally, which I don't know is tied to this, but it's the Galactic Federation and the distortion around that. And again, I don't know if that's part of the project, but that's been coming up for me recently, in addition to the other groups of beings that come through as consciousness. The one is from a different universe. And that was part of myself that I integrated last week. So anyways, that's what's been coming up for me. And then Vishnu came through during our meditation, who is not the creator, he's not the destroyer, he is the preserver. I am complete.
Yeah, thank you guys so much. So many codes. Yeah, Erica, that data transmission was like, yeah, I can't wait to masculine big brain that and download the full unzip. What came through for me, and I'm interested to kind of hear, so I'm thinking of kind of our 2-call format, so a little bit in the masculine here, but I really want to kind of stay in this like feminine flow frequency, but we do kind of need to paint like, hey, 1 call this one, 2nd call, we have like a rough kind of estimate of it. What I was thinking, I was really leaning into kind of the galactic reclamation itself. So I was kind of picturing us, each individual person that's here, as a representative of our multidimensional soul aspects, plus our councils. So not only our personal galactic councils, or personal starseed councils, but also our soul aspects as well have councils. So us, as what Vincent would say, as like, if you want to call it the Oversoul, fractalized down from the monad, but each individual person here, if we call it 7, 8, we could be almost a representative of a galactic council in a way, because it's galactic reclamation, right? It doesn't necessarily need to be like a specific like, oh, I'm Anunnaki, or I am, because we're applying labels, right? We're getting away from that, because we are many, many things, many, many times over. And when you say I am an Arcturian, or my higher self, like you become kind of locked into this label, right? And it's very limiting. We're calling in kind of the Unified Galactic Council. What was the other one from the Anunnaki too? The Unified Council of Elders as well. But I was thinking almost in a way, and just tell me how this sits, is we almost like each individual person, we call in our soul aspects, because JJ is going to do kind of a group activation on the 2nd day. For us, this will be the 1st day that I'm talking about here. So each person kind of tapping into our soul aspects and our own personal councils, and the councils of our soul aspects, and we are the representation of them on the call. And then each individual person maybe kind of almost like a frequency representation of that individualized like reclamation, whether it's like I don't know if we kind of, I wrote down, what did I write down? I wrote down like a mantra and maybe an affirmation for each person as a representation. It doesn't need to necessarily like be that, but weaving all of us on the call together, representing us. Does that make sense? Like, I am my multidimensional soul aspects. I am my council. I am their councils as well, right? And then when we, oh, Tatiana's back. Yeah, and then when we kind of key up, each person will maybe recite, it's a reclamation in a way. It's like this deep remembrance frequency. And those aren't even really the right words. Those are the human words. I'm looking for a much more higher frequency version of that. So I would love to hear if this triggered anything for anybody. It could be like a mantra. It could be an affirmation. It could be, a prayer. It doesn't necessarily need to be that, but maybe just each person kind of key up and we kind of weave that frequency. I don't know.
Yeah, what I'm kind of hearing as you're talking about that is like, I think that's a good idea for all of us to sort of anchor that into our field and sort of show up to these calls as the representative of that. But in terms of like, in terms of the flow of the call, Like, I wonder if we sort of just structure it like a little bit like the play calls that I've been doing. I think most of you have attended those where we get together, we tap in, we go on a little bit of a journey, and then we just kind of step into that co-channeling piece. And I think stepping into the frequency of JJ's offering and with everything that we've talked about here, like I'm sort of just gonna take everything that we've talked about and kind of just feel into what feels like the most aligned, like guided piece to take us through. And then I think really the magic's going to come through when we sort of go through that process together and everybody sort of shows up in their channel as that, that representative of the unified field within them through, the multidimensional soul aspects and kind of representing that council. So I don't know how everybody feels about that, but that's what feels aligned to me right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like that. What has anybody kind of maybe we can kind of shift gears and focus on to the to show up really Pleiadian and really Arcturian in each life to represent that aspect that many of us have all. Can we kind of shift gears and talk about, because I just want to be respectful of everybody's time here, because we're at just over an hour, maybe the second call now. So it sounds like we got the first call's frequency basically kind of like tapped. What about the second call? Jacob, did you have something specifically that you were thinking, or is anything coming through kind of like more galactic activation? Because if I'm thinking back to the previous kind of reconciliation, we have kind of like the time lock, there was like these three kind of themes, but I'm feeling more kind of I don't know, activation in a way, but I want to hear what everybody else's thoughts are for the second call, day 2.
What about sort of like the guided piece for that one being almost like walking through just like channeling these codes and this sort of unity that we're bringing to the table through our collective pillars, like just sort of almost opening up that channel and like expanding and amplifying it so that the codes can come through more easily. Because I think what we talked about before was a little bit of like pre-gridding for that group MSI that JJ's going to do through her sort of offering. And so if we kind of just hold that intention to like open the space and amplify it a bit, then then sort of what I'm seeing is like just kind of almost creating this tunnel to source like through the network of stars and suns into our sun, into our solar system, and just sort of like um almost like amplifying the space around our solar system too, to like hold this additional like higher dimensional frequency and light, where we're sort of like creating a channel for the source codes to come through, but also like magnetizing in aligned codes from other stars in the network to sort of kind of just like shift and come into alignment with the network itself, kind of all culminating here in our solar system, which I think will serve the purpose of amplifying the, I guess, effectiveness or like the ability for that group MSI to kind of land, for people to more easily kind of connect in with that, because we're sort of pre-calling in the codes from all of those other star systems to be present in the field. And then when we get into JJ's call, we're sort of in that frequency of that tunnel that we built, so that the codes can come through for people.
Yeah, I'm kind of hearing that, like from what you're saying there, is that we open up our space and then we do like pull in a round robin of light codes, like spoken light codes from each of us who are feeling called. Like I know light codes are definitely dynamic, so I think it's going to present itself to us as we proceed through into that second call for sure. And that's kind of what I was getting like. And we just have the intention that we're opening up this pillar all the way to cosmic source, basically, and bringing the rainbow, white diamond, and golden light into like our field that is going to spread into everybody else's at that time or whatever. I guess when we do the opening, and I think we should open with some feminine codes and then masculine, feminine, masculine. If we can get a weave of that just flowing into it, I think that would probably be, beneficial to get this flow. Like I feel like I just keep on seeing a sine curve up and down. That's like we're just kind of need to reconnect those points, and like we're connecting it through like this Z axis that we're just taking in to become more multidimensional, basically.
Yeah, I like that idea a lot. I was just re-listening to JJ's it was like the June energy update and the Starseed connection circle. And she was just really emphasizing the stellar gateway as what she felt was really critical to being able to access and do the work, the activation for the reclamation. So whatever we can do to enhance and work on that as well. I know we've already done kind of the 12 chakra activation, but just kind of circling back to that in any way. And when she was showing the code today, it made me flash on one of the newest crop circles that showed up at Avebury. I'll see if I can find a picture of it. It looked like a gear, almost like a key code or a lock that needed to be opened, and it kind of reminded me a little bit of the Stellar Gateway that she posted or that Joe created as well. So there's that sacred geometry I keep seeing up in that in that 12th density space or wherever. She also mentioned Melchizedek and Seraphim as the ones who were calibrating the sacred geometry from source into and through the stellar gateway. They were kind of the ones that were acting as bridges for that. I just thought was a really interesting image to have to hold.
Yeah, I'm kind of reminded too of this is a little bit of a frequency change up from but it felt important to say is that leading up to the Rainbow Bridge for months and months, it was probably like 4 to 6 months in my dreams in the astral, myself, and it felt like thousands of other souls. I had this same recurring dream of building the Rainbow Bridge, like physically building it. Like I would fall asleep and we were working on this, and I couldn't see what we were working on for like months. We were just doing it, and it was like me just hanging out with my friends. But then after a while, I asked my higher self, I was like, hey, I want to see what we're doing, because it was the same recurring dream. It was probably about, I would say 4 months, but it was probably like 2 months and some change. And we were building the Rainbow Bridge, and I'm kind of getting a sense now it's a different frequency. It's a more updated frequency. Even when Vincent was talking about like the builders, or I have a galactic architect as well, and I feel like that many of us in here, we're kind of on the other side, kind of co-creating and co-weaving and working on a lot of things together. It's not by accident that we're weaving here in this 3D incarnation. So yeah, I don't know exactly what it is. It definitely has something to do with like the I feel like Rachel has codes for this. I don't know why, but it has something to do with what we're actually like building, and it's not like physically with our hands. It's energetically, it's etherically. Jacob mentioned the Barbello. I'm just really getting this and I can't put my finger on it, and I don't want to mansplain it, and I know that that's like a label, but that's just the way it is like it's a very feminine frequency. It's high frequency, it's very potent, it's very kind of like creationism, maybe primordial. It just feels like something that's like right there on the precipice, but I'm just far enough away that I can't quite channel it. So I'd be interested to see if anybody else has something.
I can help. It, to me, I don't think of it from like any gender perspective. I think of it as unity consciousness. And I think of it as like your sovereign sacred heart, right? Like, so it's not, it's like so much about like, we have to stop asking for permission and just own your sovereignty. And when you do that, it reminds you that you are a creator, and then you can just weave with that light that's in your heart. We're talking your divine inheritance, the God sovereign free. It's the wounds come from us forgetting. That's why we activate remembrance. And to do that, we don't have to, but it's just that the more that we come into terms with who we are multidimensionally and ancestrally, and the parallels ancestors as well, and understand that we are all like a mycelium network across all time, space, dimensions, realities, like it just becomes so much easier to think about it, because like to me, that's just all I think about. And everything else is just either distortion, or I just follow my call, and I end up going where I'm supposed to go, doing what I'm supposed to be doing just by being, because it's so divine when you're on that frequency, when your radio stations are just tuned in your head to, you want your greatest glory, which is source's greatest glory. You cannot lose after that. And so that type of frequency, that type of light is really just a heart resonance of understanding your sovereign joy is your divine inheritance. And there's nothing really wrong about any of us. And every wound in the threads is based on that lie of what we could say like original sin, as if we were born unworthy. And when you clear that in everything you can, and you use that frequency, which does hold original divine blueprint, for the fact of that it was intended to not really be as distorted as we've experienced it. We've reached a mark, I think we can all say that, like, hey, it's time we clean our room. And yeah, so it's just kind of like that. It's just making space, cleaning our room, reconciling. Doesn't have to be some big dramatic like emotional thing if you know how to witness from your heart and not judge. So those like Buddhic frequencies of like non-attachment, no judgment, things like that, like they all weave in here, like everything we've ever learned from all different types of origins. And you just remove the distortion, which is anything that's against your sovereign joy is pretty much a lie. So that's just how I think of it. And the more I connect to just that concept, like that source glory is one beautiful symphony where everybody gets to radiate and shine in heart coherence and resonance. And the more you keep that in your mind, the easier it becomes to reach these threads or this high frequency. And it's like I don't even have to try when I'm in it because it's just me surrendering. And that's kind of, I don't always have
Yeah.
words because it's like hard to put words on things that feel like God.
No, that's so deep. I guess my question to you is, and this may be, you know, if you were to teach that to somebody, like those sentences that you just wove from the quantum, right? So if we were to embody that as sovereign, limitless creators, right? Or you were to teach that to somebody, like what is the most aligned way to basically kind of grid that would be my question, because that feels important for the second call.
It's all calibration. And laying architecture for that calibration is to hold that frequency as a frequency pillar and a frequency bridge, and that it is felt and it just reaches as much as it could be magnetized to through the intention of that frequency, because it is magnetic. Therefore, it's not like you have to put words on it. Like I can be in a room and you can feel me and I don't have to say anything. And all of us can, if we're carrying that type of open frequency. But there are, you know, we try to protect from it. It's like, oh, well, if you surrender and set the intention, then like no one can make it more distorted for you or cause any harm because that's not the intention. Like then it usually aligns. And in your sovereign joy, do what feels right, follow your calls, and it is what it is. But like calibration and no judgment, unconditional love, all of those beautiful things that just sometimes sound like words to us are really what kind of work. So I can't put words to it. It's just the concept of being it embodied, right?
Yeah, I almost wonder if you could just kind of like, you know, we are the representation of the collective, and through quantum entanglement, we are getting this into the collective. I almost wonder if you could kind of walk us through something like that in a way to kind of like really like embody what you just said. I mean, does that feel aligned? Like I understand
It's a
the
very deep thing to try to just wave a magic wand about because it's a personal journey. But I don't
Mhm.
do journeys. That's why I work one-to-one. That's why I don't, it's not that I don't or I can. It's just that like if I knew how to do that, I would have done it already, but there's no frequency match for it until there's like calibrations and foundational like architecture built for it, which just usually means like the more we do our own work, the more that's the embodiment, the more that all of us do that, like it's not optional type of like I want to get to my integrity, right? Like I want to be in my integrity in the highest light, um, which is to witness. Even if it hurts, it doesn't have to hurt that long. When you remember that it's just a lot of distortion and it was just forgetting, like that's just I can't really put it into words. It's like, isn't that what all religions are trying to put into words, or all healers are trying to put that into words when it's so faithful, meaning like there's so much unseen about it, it's felt. So I really anchor a lot of that while you guys talk. When you guys talk, like I am just anchoring and gridding and weaving it all together as a whirl, like in the access and like just spinning it, weaving it in, clearing it, purifying it, because I keep in mind that it's never just for me. It's always for the collective. It's always for Gaia, and it's always for the omniverse. When you hold planetary grid and it can actually emotionally affect you, you start to learn that like it's never just about you. It's always about the collective because it will all like there is no such thing as freedom unless all are free. And like that's just kind of how it feels. Like, and everything should just be in its nature. Like we all have our divine human nature. We all have our own individual soul essence. So like you should just be in your integrity in that, because that is the sequence, right? Like the more you shine in your integrity, the more I can shine in my integrity, and it dims no one. And so that's like just the work is sitting with that, I guess, is my point. I don't know. I've always been this deep. This is just how I think. This is how I am. I'm a psychotherapist. I can't help it. I just have been this way forever. So I don't, it's an experience. It's more of a feeling, and it's more of putting your walls down, opening your gates to let it in. So learning how to receive, which is very feminine, right? Is I think really important.
Yeah, it's a very it's a very powerful message. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. Erica said the Elven Council of Light. Tatiana, a grounded meditation that uses sacred geometry to access the higher frequencies. It is very physical, but was shown to me as a step-by-step process. Did you want to talk about that? I know we're getting a little long here, so people need to drop. I just want to, and Lenny's drawing cards as well too. Is
Yeah,
this
I
something
don't know if this is
that-
the right time to do it. I was going to maybe share it when we do our in-person stuff, but it felt like you were maybe asking for some, and maybe I got this wrong, but maybe asking for some very like practical, almost masculine ways to kind of lead into or guide into certain states. And I love what Rachel was saying because it's so true. You know, if we can just live in that state and remember that state, but sometimes I feel like we need the breadcrumbs to get back to there to remind us. So maybe I'll put a pin in it for another time, but I think whatever works to get you there, but sometimes for me, I need the breadcrumbs. It's actually kind of very similar to what Jacob led. Unfortunately, I wasn't on the second call, but yeah, anyway, pin it for later.
Yeah, I mean, if it's something that feels pertinent, I think it's worth talking about. I'm just trying to think of something, not that we have to do anything per se, but just something like maybe practical that would kind of co-assist, co-channel, co-weave with the frequency that JJ's calling in for like day 2 specifically.
Can you
And
share
day
more
3.
about what JJ is like planning for day 1, day 2, day 3? Like, because I have the page, right? And so I could tune in, but is there anything else that she shared? Because I've had things come into my field. I just sometimes don't know. I'm like, is it just related for me? Or is it like tied to something else? And so if there's just like anything that if you have anything you could share, maybe that could help. Because like Draco constellations come up for me a lot lately, but I don't know if that's tied to this or not. But I have 999 million infinite things coming at me all the time, and I'm just like, which one goes with which puzzle?
Yeah, I wasn't specifically. The only thing that she mentioned that I remember was the day 2 she was talking about. I don't think she's really put out much. Day 2 she was talking about doing a group MSI, and I'm just kind of reading through here where it sounds like Jacob may potentially be attuned to leading a group MSI. Is that what I'm reading here? Do you mind unmuting, or did he head out?
Greetings.
Oh, here he is.
I think the point of us doing this, as much as I would love to run a group MSI, is that we're meant to be helping prepare, not get ourselves a little upgrade. So with that in mind, that's why it was just this idea I was presenting at the start of like, okay, what can we do to set up Earth more? What can we do to set up the sun more? What can we do to help the people who are going to be on that call feel like things are much more easier, accessible? Well, yeah, yes, I hear what you're saying. Yes. So, yeah, so I guess I want to direct, I just probably want to do an MSI if it's just upgrading us kind of thing. And if she's already doing one, then yeah. And I might have some insights as to what's going on there, but I don't know if we're meant to know yet. So there's something else we've obviously brought up that must be relevant for the second call.
Okay, well, I'm just gonna set my intention that I'm doing everything for the highest alignment of all in the omniverse, and everything that I do for me helps everyone else. I think I'm gonna set that like personal intention for this. I think if we're talking about bringing through new frequencies through the solar system, I think it might be important to consider Maldek, and I think Venus and the Venusian energies that are coming through can really support with that. And then of course there's time. So I'm just like throwing all these little things out there that I mentioned in the chat. And I think I'm just gonna like bring through some light language because human words aren't doing it. And maybe that can help. Kunukusukote kasute kosokoto to 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 ta 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 ti ta to 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 ta 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 ta. There's something about angelic councils coming in, and then the Pegasus. And a reminder that we are all one heart. Yeah, there's just something about the angel light coming in. And that's just how they said it was the angel light. And the fire and the flame of God. The toroidal field of the universe something about the wings of humanity. Like the wings of Albion. We grid on the wings of Albion. And fairy magic. And the giraffes. And we clear all disparities. Ayakata, sinaku, whoop, 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 whoop. Ushuku, shuku, shukote. I am complete.
I have the Galactic Owl Council wants to come through. Ooh, turtle. And Melchizedek wants to finish up with my light language here. And thank you, everyone. They just are expressing such deep gratitude. The Owl Collective brought in new intelligence fields to surround our mental bodies. There's like a star, like a seven-pointed star that's radiating in our mental bodies that's bouncing around it to connect things. Yeah, that's kind of what I had. And Melchizedek just wanted to express gratitude for us gathering. So much gratitude and filling us with love for sure. And I am complete. Thank you so much.
Yeah, wow, thank you both. Your codes are always amazing. But thank you for sharing your gifts. I've just sort of just been tinkering with some cards here. This deck is called the Galactic Heritage cards, and it's kind of based off the book The Prism of Lyra. And I mean, I'm sort of like, my question was, what else do we need to see about this 2-call series in support of JJ's offering? And I mean, I'm sort of getting a lot of what we've already talked about. Like, there's some themes with like the masculine principle and the feminine principle, and kind of bridging together to embrace transition, like through common ground and solar consciousness, ultimate evolution, birth and expansion, sort of coming into a new consciousness era with like freedom of community and like through our pioneering spirits. Facilitating open contact sort of dissolves all delusions of control, which sort of plays into the, harmonizing humanity. And there's something too about, and we've sort of touched on it with the, topic of our multidimensionality and sort of embodying that and bringing it to the table through like our council of light. But there's elements of like ancient wisdom, you know, golden eras, that we're sort of reharmonizing and transmuting and bringing back into the now in an up-leveled way. I'm just hearing a ton of gratitude from all the star families for a willingness to sort of hold space for the like expansion of these intentions. So just leaning into that gratitude, letting it fill you up, taking all of these codes with you as you walk throughout your week. Amplifying the frequency of embodiment through our true divine union. And as we sort of come to a close, let's also send lots of love and light and gratitude to every single support team member that showed up today, all of our guides, helpers, and friends, etherically or otherwise, all of the beautiful codes that were shared, our divine wisdom, all of our oversouls that are helping to guide us in this process, allowing them to harmonize us, sending gratitude through those connections directly into our monad connection to allow those frequencies to harmonize further as well. Bringing it down, sending those golden codes into our antenna and her crystalline grids. As we hold space for the wings of humanity, you guys. Breathing deeply as we call all of our energy back to us, cleansed and cleared. Releasing any energy that's not ours into the void, into the quantum field, to be cleansed and harmonized, recycled in support of the highest good of every all. Bringing our awareness back to center as we breathe deeply once more. And I think with that, I'm complete. Thank you, thank you.